Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, Steven's going to be teaching you how to play Golden Skies. So as you guys heard, a really fun tune. It's one that Steven wrote, and it actually is a good piece for working on both finger picking and strumming. And what's great about this is that I think it's going to be best suited for that intermediate player and above, because that finger picking part actually works throughout almost the entire span of the neck. I think it goes up to the 10th fret. So you're going to be going from the open strings all the way to the 10th fret. So you're going to be using the majority of this neck. So it's a great one for breaking out of playing just here at the beginning of the neck. But I think the big takeaway with this tune is the strumming part. And that strumming part not only has some really interesting chords that may be new for you, but also uses a syncopated rhythm. So if you've been playing the island strum pattern, you know, down, down, up, down, up, and you really want to break away from that and branch out into more complex strum patterns, well, this song is going to be great for that. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about this lesson. So Steven's going to be teaching you how to play the entire song in this video. But if you do want to get the tabs to print out and follow along with, that's going to be available at this link, or you can go to the site rockclass101.com, do a search for Golden Skies. Also on that page is going to be the on-screen tab viewer. Now this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, watch the tab scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset for learning this song that much easier. Alright guys, so before I hand it off to Steven to teach you how to play this, I want to give you a few tips that will help with learning this song. The first one is going to be with rhythm. So since the strum pattern has some syncopation in it, understanding rhythm is going to help tremendously with this lesson. So I'm going to put a link in the description box below to our introduction to understanding rhythmic notation, but there really is no better way for really understanding how rhythm and timing connect than to learn to read standard notation. So do click that link if you want to check out our complete in-depth course on learning to read music. Secondly, some of the chords, like the one that I played earlier, this A minor, it's going to have a bit of a stretch where that pinky will go up to the 8th fret. So a bit of a crazy reach going on right there. So if you're new to playing stretch chords or stretch licks, stretch phrases, or anything that requires the first and the index to have a big reach, then check out this lesson on increasing left hand reach. It's got 3 exercises to help you gain reach in the left hand. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead now and hand it off to Steven to teach you how to play, and then I'll see you at the end of the video.
Hey guys, today we're going to start with melody A, and we're going to learn this in 2-bar phrases. So here's the first 2 measures. So we're going to start with our middle finger on the 8th fret on the E string, and our pinky on the 10th fret on the A string. We're going to play those 2 notes together by plucking with the index and the middle finger, and then our thumb's going to hit the open G string. Then we're going to go to the 8th fret on the E string and the 8th fret on the A string at the same time. Notice I'm using my ring finger to play the 8th fret on the A string. My middle finger is still getting the 8th fret on the E string. We're going to play that, and we're already going to have our pointer finger pushing down on the 7th fret so that we're ready for a pull-off that's about to happen. Then we're going to pull off to the 7th fret. Then we're going to hit the open G string after that. Then now we're going to shift down. We're going to play the 7th fret on the E string with our middle finger and the 5th fret on the A string with our pointer finger. We're going to play those 2 notes at the same time. Then we're going to hit the open G string. Now we're going to hit the 7th fret on the E string with the 7th fret on the A string. And notice I'm using my middle finger for the 7th fret on the E string and my ring finger for the 7th fret on the A string. Then we're going to hammer on with our pinky to the 8th fret. So this is a little tricky. We got to build up some finger strength in our pinky in order to push down hard enough to hear that note. And then after that, we're going to play the 7th fret on the E and the A string once again. So let's play measure 1 together. The rhythm's going to be 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with measure 2, we're going to play the 5th fret on the E string with the 3rd fret on the A string. Then we're going to play the open G string in the middle. Now we're going to play the 5th fret on the E string with the 5th fret on the A string. Notice I'm using my ring finger for the 5th fret on the E string and my pinky for the 5th fret on the A string. And this is to set up for a pull-off that's coming up. So let's pluck those 2 5th frets together, and then we're going to pull off to the 3rd fret on the A string. So my pointer finger is getting the 3rd fret on the A string. Then we're going to hit the open G string. Then we're going to slide down. This is going to be a G chord. We're going to play the 3rd fret on the E string with our middle finger while doing the 2nd fret on the A string with our pointer finger. Then we're going to hit the open G string after that. And we're going to hit that same chord again, which is the 3rd fret on the E string and the 2nd fret on the A string. And then now we're going to do the 3rd fret on the E string and the 3rd fret on the A string, just those 2 notes together. And I like using my middle finger still for that 3rd fret on the E string, and now my ring finger is getting the 3rd fret on the A string. So let's play the first 2 measures together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's measures 3 and 4, and it's a little bit syncopated. So pay close attention to the rhythm. 3, 4. So we're going to start with an F add 9 chord. We're just pushing down the 1st fret on the E string, and then we're going to strum through all the strings, just a normal down strum. Then we're going to continue on that chord for beat 2 and the and the after beat 2. So we got 1, 2, and So then we put our ring finger down on the 3rd fret of the A string while keeping our pointer finger down on the 1st fret on the E string. And we're going to play 3 E and then we're going to play the 2nd fret on the A string, but still keeping our pointer finger in the same spot to play the after beat 3. So we've got 3 E and We're going to skip over beat 4 and we're going to play the E after that with the chord that we started the measure with, F add 9. And then we're going to play it one more time at the end of the measure. So the rhythm on this measure is pretty tricky. Basically, we've got a lot of 16th notes and a couple of ties that hide the beat. So it sounds like this: 1, 2, and 3 E and E, which is kind of tricky. So what we're going to do is probably just play it by ear. So a little bit faster as can be. Bum, dum, da 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 dun dun dun. So let's go ahead and play measure 3 together, just because it's a little tricky. 3 and 4 and. We're going to do it one time a little bit faster for the people playing by ear. 3, 4. Then in measure 4, we're doing a G7 chord, and this measure sounds like this. So we're starting with the down strum, and we're playing that G7 chord, which is the 2nd fret on the C string, the 1st fret on the E string, and the 2nd fret on the A string. So I'm using my middle finger for the 2nd fret on the C string, pointer finger for the 1st fret on the E string, and my ring finger for the 2nd fret on the A string. So we've got this rhythm with that one. 1 E and 2 E. And then after that, we're just going to put our pinky down in addition to the rest of the notes in the chord, not changing anything else. And we're just going to play one time, and then we're going to come back to our G7 chord, one down strum, and hold it out for the rest of the measure. So once again, if this rhythm's a little bit tricky, you can just do it by ear. But if you want the rhythm, it's 1 E and 2 E and 3, 4. So let's play measures 3 and 4 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's play measures 1 through 4 together. And we're going to do them a little bit faster than that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now at measure 5, we're doing a variation on the melody at A, and we're strumming all these notes, and it's in a different octave, but it sounds similar if you listen closely. So here's measures 5 and 6. So measure 5 starts on a C5 chord, and we're going to be pushing down the 3rd fret on the E string with our ring finger and the 3rd fret on the A string with our pinky, and playing the other 2 strings open. And we've got this rhythm with that. 1 and then we're going to lift our ring finger up and push our pointer finger down on the 1st fret on the E string. And then we're going to pull off to the open E string. And once we do that open E string after we pull off, we're going to be playing a C major chord there. So I'm just leaving my pinky down on the 3rd fret and playing 2 more notes. So we got... And here we have to mute a little bit to get the melody to come out over the chord. So we're going to play the open G string, then I'm using my middle finger to play the 2nd fret on the C string, and then my pinky is muting the other 2 strings so that they don't ring out. And we're going to do that same rhythm that we had on beat 1, which is just 3 and a. So then we're going to play a C major chord using our pinky to get the 3rd fret on the A string, and then we're going to hammer on to the 1st fret on the E string after that, and we're going to play that C major chord once again. So let's play measure 5 together since it's a little bit tricky. 3 and 4 and... And now we're going to go back to our C5 chord. We're going to play it 3 times. So we're going to play the open G string, the 2nd fret on the C string, the open E string, and our pinky's going to get the 5th fret on the A string. It's kind of a little bit of a stretch, and we're going to play... which is just 2 and then we're going to slide up. This is going to be the pointer finger on the 4th fret of the C string, and our pinky's now playing the 7th fret on the A string, but the other 2 strings are still open. And then we just go back to our C major chord. This time you can play it with the normal ring finger playing the 3rd fret on the A string if you'd like. Let's do measures 5 and 6 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's measures 7 and 8. So measures 7 and 8 are a variation on measures 3 and 4. So first we're going to play that F add 9 chord where we put our 1st finger on the 1st fret of the E string, play the other strings all open, and the rhythm there is going to be 1 and a 2 and a, and then now we're going to put our ring finger on the 3rd fret on the A string, leaving our pointer finger on the 1st fret of the E string, and we're going to play 3 strums, just straight 16th notes there, and then after that we're going to put our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then we're just going to strum 1 time there. And it ends up being an upstroke. And then we go back to the F add 9 chord 2 times, and both of these strums end up being on upstrokes. So let's talk about the rhythm again really quickly. The first 2 beats are very easy in this measure. We're just going to be going 1 and a, 2 and a. Then you've got 3 E and a, E, which is a little bit syncopated. So I recommend just learning that part by ear, just listening to it a couple times. So slowly, the whole measure is bum, 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 and a little bit faster. Bum, 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 bum. And then for measure 8, we're going to play the G7 chord, which we already went over earlier, and you're going to play a slightly different rhythm with this measure. You're going to do 1 and a 2E, and then on the and after beat 2, we're going to put our pinky down on the 3rd fret of the A string, but keeping the other fingers where they are. We're going to strum that 1 time, and then we're going to lift our pinky back up and just play the G7 one more time. So let's play measures 7 and 8 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's play measures 5 through 8 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that takes us into melody B. So here's measures 9 and 10, the first two measures of melody B. So to start melody B, we're going to be playing an A minor chord, but not the easy version that we're used to. We're going to be playing the 5th fret on the G string with our middle finger, the 4th fret on the C string with our pointer finger, the 5th fret on the E string with our ring finger, and our pinky is stretching all the way out to the 7th fret on the A string. We're going to do a down strum. I like raking through the strings, but you could also just do a normal down strum. So here's the rhythm of the whole measure. 1 and 2 and a 3E and a 4E. So 1 and 2 and a 3E and a E. So after we play that A minor chord, we're going to play the 5th fret on the G string, then we're going to strum that A minor chord 3 more times. Then our pinky is actually going to have to reach up to the 8th fret while the other 3 fingers stay in the same spot. We're going to play 3 notes there. This is going to be 3E and, 3E and. Then we're going to move our pinky back down to the 7th fret. And we're going to have an up strum there. And then after that, we're going to move our pinky down to the 5th fret on the A string. So our pinky is basically getting all the melody notes on the A string while our other 3 fingers are staying in the same place. Let's play measure 9 by itself since it's a little bit tricky with all these stretches. 3 and 4 and. And then now we're going to an F major 7 chord, and basically here we're going to be barring the 5th fret on the G string, the C string, and the E string with our pointer finger, and then our ring finger is going to get the 7th fret on the A string. And once again, this is measure 10. So this is going to sound like this. So the melody on the A string is actually the exact same notes as in measure 9, but this time we don't have to only use our pinky for this since we have more fingers free. Our ring finger is getting the 7th fret, then we're playing the 5th fret on the G string by itself after we strum that chord. And then we keep strumming the chord for 3 more times, and then we're going to put our pinky down and we're going to play the 8th fret, keeping the other notes of the chord the same. 3 times, then we lift our pinky back up and our ring finger is still there. And then after that, we're literally just barring the 5th fret all the way through all 4 strings for the last strum in this measure. So the rhythm is the exact same as measure 9, 1 and 2 and 3E and E. So let's do measures 9 and 10 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's measures 11 and 12. First, we're going to start with a G chord, but up in this position. So we're going to be playing the 7th fret on the C string with our middle finger, the 7th fret on the E string with our ring finger, and the 5th fret on the A string with our pointer finger. And we're just going to strum through that whole chord, including the open G string. Then we're going to play the open G string, and then we're going to strum this chord 3 more times using the same rhythm that we've been doing from all of melody B. Then we're going to shift our pointer finger up to the 7th fret, and we're going to bar the 7th fret on the C string, the E string, and the A string. So it's a little bit tricky with that bar chord. You have to kind of flatten your finger out to push down. And we're going to strum 3 times there. Then we're going to put our middle finger down on the 8th fret of the A string, strum once, and then our pinky is going to reach up to the 10th fret of the A string. Everything else is still staying the same. So let's do measure 11 together since it has this tricky shift in the middle of it. It's the same rhythm as measures 9 and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. For measure 12, we're going to play an A minor chord where we're playing the 2nd fret on the G string and the other 3 strings are open. And our rhythm for this whole measure, before we get started on the rest of it, is going to sound like this. 1, 2, and 3, and E. So that's 1, 2, and a 3, and E and a. Or if you just want to do it by ear, bum, bum, da da dun, dun, da da da. So first we're going to play that A minor chord for beat 1, then 2 and a. And now we're going to switch over to an E7 chord, which we're going to play the 1st fret on the G string with our pointer finger, the 2nd fret on the C string with our middle finger, and the 2nd fret on the A string with our ring finger. And we're going to play this 2 times. And then after that, we're going to wait for a second, come in on the E after beat 4 with 3 more strums on the E7 chord. So let's play measures 11 and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we go back to the top of melody B. So you may want to practice this a little bit extra from measure 12 going back to the repeat at measure 9, because going E and a 1 is kind of tricky getting back up to that A minor chord. So then we're going to repeat measures 9, 10, and 11 of melody B, and after that we're going to skip over to measures 13 and 14. So for time's sake, we're not going to play measures 9 through 11 again. We're just going to jump down to measure 13. So it's going to sound like this. So that was measures 13 and 14. So we're going to start with our A minor chord. The rhythm for this measure is just 1, 2, and a 3, 4, and a. So we've got our A minor chord, 4 strums. Then we've got our E7 chord that we've already gone over. And so that's measure 13. And then measure 14, we're going to do a D minor chord. And this rhythm changes here. 1, a 2, E, and 3, 4. Or if you want to just do this one by ear, bum, 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 bum. We're going to start with our D minor chord, which is 2nd fret on the G string with our middle finger, 2nd fret on the C string with our ring finger, and 1st fret on the E string with our pointer finger. And we're going to play that 4 times in that rhythm we already said. And then our pinky is going to reach up to the 3rd fret on the A string, which turns it into a D minor 7 chord. We're just going to play that 1 time, and then we're going to play a G7 chord after that, which is just open G string, 2nd fret on the C string, 1st fret on the E string, and 2nd fret on the A string. We've gone over this chord a couple times, so you know which fingers to use. And that's just a half note there. So let's go back to measure 13, and we'll play measures 13 and 14. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's play melody B in its entirety together, just a little bit slower so we can work on these transitions after the repeat. So here's melody B all the way through. 3 and 4 and. And now we're back to a slight variation on melody A, where we play the first 2 measures of it just like we did at the very beginning of the piece. So in other words, measures 15 and 16 are exactly like measures 1 and 2. So I'll play through that really quickly, but if you can't remember how to do it, just go back to the beginning of the tutorial. And once we get done with that, we're at the outro. So the outro continues the plucking pattern that we have in melody A, just a little bit further, and then there's this cool little 16th note run at the end. So here's what it sounds like. So for this one section, we're going to do 3 measures because measure 19 is literally just 1 chord. So in measure 17, we're starting with our 1st fret on the E string, and we're playing the open A string. We're plucking those 2 notes together with our pointer and middle finger on our right hand. Then we're playing the open G string. Now we're going to play the 2nd fret on the A string with our middle finger, and then we're going to hammer on to the 3rd fret on the A string with our ring finger. And then after that, we're going to play the open G string again. Then we're going to play the 4th fret on the C string with the 3rd fret on the E string. And this is a little bit tricky because our fingers were down here. Now I'm moving my pointer and my middle finger up to the C string and the E string. And to play those 4th fret on the C string and the 3rd fret on the E string. Then I'm hitting the open G string after that. Then my pointer finger is free to reach the 2nd fret on the A string. I'm just going to pluck that note by itself and then play the open G string. And now we're on to measure 18, which has that cool little 16th note run. So first we're basically going to play a D minor chord. I'm not worried about the note on the G string because we're not going to play the G string at all until the last chord of the song. I'm going to use my middle finger to play the 2nd fret on the C string, my pointer finger to play the 1st fret on the E string, and I'm going to play the open A string as well. Once you have that pattern down, you're just going to pluck with your thumb on the C string, your pointer finger on the E string, and your middle finger on the A string. And you're going to go thumb, index, middle, index. And that's a pattern that we're going to apply to the rest of this measure. Then we're going to slide up. We're going to do an E minor chord with our ring finger on the 4th fret of the C string, our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the E string, and our pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. So 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, a little staircase. And then we're going to do the same finger picking pattern where we go thumb, index, middle, index. And now we're going to slide up, and I like using these fingers basically because in a minute we're going to have a melody note, and this just makes it easier. I know it's a little bit of a stretch. If it's too much of a stretch for you, you can use different fingers to make it a little bit easier, but I prefer doing the 5th fret on the C string with my middle finger, the 5th fret on the E string with my ring finger, and the 3rd fret on the A string with my pointer finger. Then we're doing that same finger picking pattern over here. And now we're going to slide that up 2 frets. So the same fingers on the same strings, but now we've got the 7th fret on the C string, 7th fret on the E string, and the 5th fret on the A string. And we do that same finger picking pattern. I like to start slowing down on this right around here. There's a little retardando. We can really start on beat 3 of this measure, but we really want to make sure to dramatically slow down on this last beat. And the finger picking pattern is just slightly different here. We're going to play the C string, the E string, the A string. Now our pinky is going to push down the 8th fret on the A string. We're just going to pluck that note. 7, 7, 5, 8. So after this, we're going to shift into a C major chord. It doesn't really matter which fingers you use for this because we're not setting up for anything new, but you could use your middle finger and your pointer finger, or you could use your ring finger and your middle finger. But basically, we're going to play the 10th fret on the E string with whichever finger you choose, and then we're going to play the 7th fret on the A string. And then we're going to strum all 4 of the strings with the other 2 strings open. And you can choose to do this with your fingernail and rake through the strings slowly, or you can use your thumb to do the same thing. So let's play measures 17 through 19. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that we've got the outro down, let's go back to melody A at bar 15 and play from 15 to the end of the song. 3 and 4 and... Alright guys, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed it.
All right, guys, so I hope you had a lot of fun learning this tune. A great one for finger picking because it broke us away from playing only in the beginning of the neck. We got to go all the way up to the 10th fret with this. But the big takeaway was the syncopated strum patterns. So a great one for breaking away from playing the island strum or anything with simple rhythms. So great challenge in that regard. Now I do want to remind you, if you do want to get the tabs to print off, keep for your records, that was available at this link, or you can go to the site rockclass101.com, do a search for Golden Skies. Also on that page was that on-screen tab viewer, so the interactive tab player where you can hit play, you can watch the tab scroll across in real time, you can highlight bars, loop sections. All that stuff is really useful, especially for tackling the syncopated strum patterns. So guys, again, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.